why you wouldn't last a day in ancient Rome, and more theme dive into the less glamorous daily grind of the Roman Empire, exploring life far from the marble halls of Caesar. Hello and welcome to Boring History for Sleep. Tonight I invite you to take a deep breath, let your shoulders relax, and settle in for a slow, gentle journey back in time. We're going to visit one of the most iconic civilizations in history, ancient Rome, but not the Rome of polished statues, grand speeches, or noble triumphs. I will be walking its streets as they truly were, uneven and heavy with the scent of humanity and dust, but of everyday people, those whose names were never recorded, whose labors shaped the empire, and whose discomforts, routines, and small pleasures formed the rhythm of ancient Roman life. We'll explore not just the lives of emperors and generals. You'll hear of a man who thought he was Hercules and ruled like a child in a Colosseum. You'll peer into ancient cursed tablets, inscribed in lead and hidden in wells, stepping into the world of ancient Rome. And finally, we'll recline if only in thought beside the wealthy at a Roman feast, where luxury masked competition and indulgence hid insecurity. So, close your eyes if you like, or let them drift slowly over the shadows of your room, and imagine yourself. Let's begin. Why it sucked to be a Roman sanitation worker. Imagine yourself waking up before sunrise in the dense, insula-filled heart of Rome's Suburra district, damp with the closeness of hundreds of sleeping bodies stacked above and below you. The wooden tenement creaks with life even in these earliest hours. The air is thick and already warm, one of the invisible cogs that keeps the great Roman machine from grinding to a halt. You are a sanitation worker, but no one celebrates you. Close to the Cloaca Maxima, the great sewer of Rome, your work is not sacred. It is not glamorous. It is not even safe. You live near the edge of the Tiber. It runs quietly now, but its flow never truly stops. You can hear it, faintly, beneath your feet, a constant whisper of water and waste. Other times, you simply sweep it toward the drains and hope the next rain will carry it away. Your task today is to walk the streets of your district with your Tula long-handled rake made of wood and iron. You scrape the refuse from the gutters. You gather what you can. Sometimes you carry amphitheater waste down to collection pits. The gutters are choked with a mix of vegetable matter, animal dung, human waste, broken pottery, and now and then a dead rat. There is no glove, no mask, just a tunic, already soiled beyond cleaning. The stone beneath your sandals is slick in places, dusty in others. It is not the stench that bothers you anymore. You've grown used to it, as one does to the droning of flies. What bothers you is the uncertainty, the sudden shout of a fruit vendor dumping spoiled figs into your clean section, the child who squats and relieves himself as you pass, the patrician liticary who sneers and spits in your direction. They do not see you, not really. Your hands grasping slime-covered stone. Your body, the buffer between the city's filth and its comfort. You are part of the street, as natural and unnoticed as the cracks in the paving stones, and yet, this work is essential. The fine men and women lounging in the thermi, gossiping in clouds of scented steam. Rome would rot faster than it already does in summer. You often think about the bathe. They do not know how often the drains clog. The Cloaca Maxima, that ancient marvel, is prone to blockage. When it floods, it is your feet in the black water. The smell of roasting garum and lentils mingles with the ever-present undercurrent of rot. Sometimes you are sent into the tunnels. They are cool and dark, quiet in a way that is not peaceful. The ceiling presses low, the air is thick, the walls, and yet there is something calming in the rhythm of your labor. The scrape, the pull, the clink of stone against iron. You remember the legends, that the cloaca was first built by the Etruscan kings, that it once ran pure, and that offerings to river gods were placed along its banks. Evening approaches slowly. The sun filters through red clay tiles. You have earned your bread, a coarse loaf, a bit of olive, perhaps wine, if the coins stretched far enough. You sit on a low wall, your hands cracked and stained, and as night descends, Rome quiets just a little. The city never truly sleeps, wrapped in the scent of smoke, sewage, and survival. The rise and fall of Emperor Commodus, a strange boy becomes a stranger man, and then a deadly emperor. His fall is as theatrical as his reign. Rome has never been larger, richer, or more uncertain. You are in the imperial palace vast, echoing with marble-clad silence where incense masks the scent of tension. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, has died. Rises a young man with soft hands, a twisted smile, and a taste for spectacle. His name is Commodus, and he is not his father. While Marcus meditated on duty and virtue, Commodus delights in costumes, drama, and the adoration of crowds. He sees himself not as a ruler of men, but a demigod. Hercules reborn demands statues be made in his image with divine symbols, not human imperfections. But Commodus is no fool. He understands the stage. He knows the people are restless, that the senators plot, and that his reign is balanced on the edge of spectacle and fear. So he puts on a show. He enters the arena an emperor, luring himself to the sands of the Colosseum, not in disguise, not as a guest, as a gladiator. At first, the Senate is horrified. This is beneath an emperor, barbaric, dangerous, but Commodus doesn't care. He fights and wins, but not because he's skilled, because his opponents are ordered to lose. Sometimes he kills animals hundreds in a day. Ostriches, lions, even a giraffe. Once, he shoots arrows at spectators in the front row. As a joke, no one laughs, not allowed. His reign becomes a circus, but once soaked in paranoia. Those who criticize him vanish, are suspected of mockery. Those who praise him too loudly. Even the Praetorian Guard watches him uneasily. He begins renaming the months of the year. After himself, statues of gods are altered to show his face. He insists on being addressed as Dominus. Whispers spread that he plans to rename Rome. His show begins to wear thin, that he will purge the Senate entirely and rule alone, forever. But like all games played too long, in 190 to CE, a former mistress and a disgruntled wrestling partner conspire. His own athletic coach, they poison him, but the dose fails, the same silence that once wrapped the arenas he adored. So they strangle him instead. In the palace bath, his reign ends in silence. The Senate rejoices, but the empire is weakened. Years of civil war follow. Commodus, in death, becomes a symbol of excess, of narcissism, of imperial rot. He was a performer, and like many performers, he believed the world existed to applaud him, even if it meant rewriting history to ensure it. Segment 3. The Cursed Tablets of Rome. They whispered and lead, buried in graves, wells, and walls. Pleas, threats, and quiet magic from the shadows of the empire. You walk along the Via Appia. The sun is bright, but something draws you to the edge of the road. There, half buried in the dust, you spot a thin, gray sheet of metal. You found a defixio, a Roman curse tablet, not written by priests, but by bakers, barbers, gladiators, the heartbroken and desperate. Thousands have been found beneath thresholds, dropped into wells, hidden in tombs. Each one a fragile window into jealousy, fear, longing, revenge. They were made of lead, cheap, soft, heavy. Some were rolled and pierced with nails. Others shaped into tiny human dolls, bound with string and twisted into stillness. They weren't prayers, they were binding spells. The word defixio means to fasten, to freeze someone spiritually, mute them, blind them, break their luck. You didn't need to write it yourself. Scribes would do it for a price. Let's read one. Bind the tongue, eyes, and wrath of Publius. Let his hands tremble in court. Let him fall, as Mercury fell from the sky. Not drama, not metaphor. This was real to them. Curses were sent to the underworld, to Hecate, goddess of crossroads, to Dispotter, lord of the dead, to the Manes, ancestral spirits. Some were tossed into sacred springs or hoping the gods would hear. Some targeted lovers who left, others business rivals, neighbors, enemies. The language is urgent, cruel, and personal. May a hair fall out, may she bleed from the eyes. May your nights be filled with worms, may the river never carry you home. Some tablets left names blank to be filled in when the enemy was known. Some weren't written in Latin or Greek, but in magic syllables, abracadabra, ab non astarte, ad sesingen bar phrases, words of power, of fear. There were rituals too, pouring wine, scratching names with an iron nail, even swallowing the tablet. Rome, for all its reason laws, Rhodes' calendars, was ruled by invisible forces just below the surface. Remind us that even in the greatest empire on earth, people still reached, quietly, desperately, into the unknown, hoping someone was listening. Feasting with the Roman elite, luxury layered with expectation. Welcome to a dinner where every bite is performance, every guest a rival, and every course a subtle war. The sun has dipped below the Palatine Hill. You are dressed in your finest year tunic, freshly bleached, your hair oiled and styled, your sandals shined, because tonight you are invited to a convivial, a Roman dinner party, not a humble meal, not a quick bite. This is an event held by a patrician, a wealthy Roman elite, perhaps a senator or equestrian, and you are not here merely to eat. You are here to be seen. The home is vast, columns rise, the air smells faintly of myrrh and lavender. Past the lararium, where household gods peer from their tiny shrine. Mosaics glimmer beneath your feet, scenes of gods, myths, and battles, all carefully chosen. You're guided through the atrium, into the triclinium, the dining room. It is not a table surrounded by chairs. It is 3 couches arranged in a U. You recline on your left side, elbow propped, legs stretched, eating with your right hand. You're placed carefully, seating is political. Those closest to the hosts are most honored. Those farther down the couch know their place. The meal begins, not suddenly, but with a gustaccio, the appetizer course, perhaps eggs with pine nuts, a dish of dormice roasted and rolled in honeyed poppy seeds. But never straight. It's mixed with water in a crater, stirred with ladles, and served with control. Yes, a delicacy, wine flows. To drink unmixed wine is to be a barbarian. The main course, a rising prime, peacock, boar stuffed with sausages, fish layered with fermented garum sauce. Dishes are selected not for nutrition, but for show. The more exotic, the better. Nightingales, tongues, flamingo, and other scoffs, and recites a Greek line more obscure. Once, a feast featured a live bird baked into a pie that flew out when it was cut. It is a performance every course, an act of status, wealth, and shock. Between courses, slaves sweep away crumbs. Some guests belch opaletes not in. One man quotes Virgil to show off. There is music, soft lyres, a flute, the hum of conversation. The dessert, or mense secunde, is served with a wink. Dates, nuts, honeyed cheese, but also riddles, jokes, provocations. A game of status and subtle insult begins. Your host eyes you. You laugh at the right time. You compliment the sauce. You don't speak too much, but not too little. It's a delicate dance. A guest stumbles a senator too deep into the wine. Everyone pretends not to notice. He will regret it tomorrow. As the candles burn low, the air thickens with perfume and exhaustion. A slave offers warm water for your hands. The final toast is made to Bacchus, to Fortuna, to Rome itself. And slowly, one by one, the guests drift out into the cool night, back into carriages, or out onto cobbled streets. You lie in your own bed again, full but unsatisfied. Because the meal was not about food, it was a battlefield, polished, perfumed, and smiling. The Roman world was one of contrasts, sewers and palaces, curses and feasts, blood and poetry. And now, dear listener, we leave it behind. The streets are quiet, the Colosseum is still, the marble statues close their eyes, and you may rest.
Last echoes of sandals on Roman stone fade into the distance. We leave the empire behind, the sewer worker, the emperor, the secret whispers of curses, and the quiet calculations of the elite. All return to dust and silence. History is not just names and dates. It is footsteps. It is breath. It is the sound of clay being shaped and forgotten. You've walked their streets, you've eaten at their tables, you've heard their secrets, and now you may rest. If you're still with us, feel free to let this space hold you a little longer. And if the night doesn't take you just yet, we'll be here in the next video. Ready to wander through another forgotten life? Thank you for listening. Good night.